Distilleries in this country have made fortunes and built dynasties, particularly in the 20th century. But once iconic names such as Seagram's or Gooderham and Wirtz aren't necessarily top of mind today. As with beer and wine, craft spirits have been making the scene lately. Here to give us a sense of what's happening in this province, Andrea Fujarczuk. She teaches distilling at Niagara College and is head distiller and co-founder of Northern Landings Spirits. And we're delighted that you are making your television debut with us here tonight.
Thank you very much
That's
for
great.
having me.
Okay, distilling in Ontario. How big an industry is it?
Oh, in terms of spirits, it's absolutely huge. When you think about net sales from the LCBO, they make about $6.4 billion per year, which is, absolutely enormous. And then if you break it down further, if you look at spirits, you're looking at about 40% of those sales are in spirits alone, making about $2.5 billion. So it's absolutely enormous. But of those 2.5 billion, about 80% of those in terms of volume are actually from the big conglomerates. So it's not really the smaller guys who are making a presence there. It's the big conglomerates. And even if you think about it in a different perspective, if you go online, there's about 2,500 different SKUs of spirits that you can buy through the LCBO. However, out of those 2,500, about 90 of them are local craft spirits, which is less than 4%.
Tiny.
It's absolutely
Who are
tiny.
the big players here?
Oh, you're talking about Diageo and some of those bigger guys that you know. And the thing is that you can't always tell what they own and what they don't own.
Right.
So what happened is there was a trend that happened already in beer where the breweries realized, okay, people are going towards craft. We want to own the smaller guys. So even though we're a conglomerate, we look like we're craft. And the people think that they're actually supporting their local breweries.
And they're not.
They're not at all.
Right. Okay. Now let me see if I got this right. You are the first artisan distilling instructor in Ontario, right? What is artisanal distilling?
Artisanal distilling is more so looking towards craft distilling. So it's a really exciting time right now. I teach at Niagara College and I get these students in and, on day one, they think they're gonna change the world and do all these very extreme things. And I kind of teach them the ins and the outs of what's happening and give them recommendations and drive home, you need to have a unique selling point. It's not just enough to put a gin or a vodka on the shelves these days. You need to make sure that there's something unique and distinct about your product that will keep your consumers coming back.
In taste, in smell, in look, in bottle shape, in what?
It's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a game. It's who is your target market? How do you want to address them? How do you want to attract them? And also not pushing the boundaries too far. Because that's something when you're producing in Ontario, you have to make sure that, if you want to be sold in the LCBO, will the LCBO accept you? Because they have a whole process that you have to kind of be aware of throughout the whole production thing. Is this bottle attractive to them? Where is it going to sit on the shelves? Where is it going to sit on the bar back? Is this going to attract the right clientele? What are your colors? What is your brand about? So there's just so many different things to think about. And in this unique industry, you have a marriage of science as well as art. So it's kind of cool in that respect where it's great to conceive this product, but also, does it match everything else about, the LCBO, the clientele, and the price point?
Now, I do know, obviously, everything's sold in the LCBO, but you can buy wine elsewhere. You can buy beer elsewhere. Is it the case for spirits that you can buy that elsewhere, or is it only in the LCBO?
So we're kind of at a bit of a disadvantage, but part of it is the fact that we haven't really had craft distillers for too long in Ontario. So when you go to a grocery store, as you might have noticed, you can buy beer sometimes, you can buy wine sometimes, you can buy cider, but you cannot purchase spirits. And part of the reasoning behind that is they didn't want to have, higher alcohol percentages available in these places, which I fully understand. But there's also something called an RTD, which means ready to drink, which is your pre-made gin and tonics, your rum and cokes, these kinds of things that you buy off the shelves, and they're about 5% alcohol. So I'm hoping in the future that they start opening these point of sales to distillers and say, okay, I understand we don't want to have these 40% vodkas on the shelves, but maybe some of the RTDs. And that would open up a huge opportunity for, distillers today.
Indeed. Now, when you teach distilling, like you're teaching, I presume, all young people, right?
Yeah.
They're all in their 20s. You're teaching them how to make
whatever they want to
make. A gin,
make.
a vodka, a rum, a whatever.
For sure. Well, in terms of distilling, there's been a bit of a disconnect, and you can also see that in the Ontario industry where there hasn't been any kind of formal education. So last year was the first year we had this distilling program at Niagara College, and there is nowhere else in Canada where you can do this. And not only is it a course, but they actually have the opportunity at least once a week to go into our physical distillery. It's 2,500 square feet, and distill whatever they're destined to make that day. And their second term, they get to pick a project that they want to make themselves. So I have these students who are coming up with these like weird and wacky ideas, which I get to, help them out. Sometimes I need to reel them back. Sometimes I need to push them forward. But at the end of the day, it's a really cool experience, because how many times do you get to go to school and make a spirit at the end with branding that's submitted to the LCBO and all these different steps?
That's very cool. But I guess you're the person who's got to deliver the heavy news that, I'm sorry, Johnny, chocolate gin is just not going to work.
Oh, you have no idea. The first day I went to class, my husband said, "How did it go?" And I said, "Well, I crushed a lot of dreams. I crushed a lot of dreams." But I think in the end, I'm getting there with my students, and I can see them. The whole point of what I really wanted to do is I worked over in the UK and I saw all these trends evolving, and I wanted to come home and I wanted to be able to contribute back to the industry. And I want to set them up for success, not just create something that they think is great, but that will be economically feasible and will lead them to success in the future.
Okay, if you want a good vodka, you go to Russia. You go to Poland, you go to Finland, wherever you go. When you want a good gin, you go to the UK. When you go to Ontario, what are you getting?
That's a very good question. As I mentioned previously, Ontario craft distillers only started coming out in the mid 2000s, late 2000s even. So we're just starting to find our feet. However, what I would say is there's a lot of really interesting, cool gins coming out. And most people don't even realize the definition of gin is a spirit that's led by juniper, as well as other botanicals. And we live in Ontario. I mean, how incredible is Ontario with the amount of forests and parks and species we have growing out there? So a lot of these craft distillers are trying to use that to their advantage and say, okay, I'm going to use these local botanicals and make a really distinctly Ontario gin, which is something that I really appreciate, and you'll see more and more of that coming out.
And can that product compete with all the other stuff that's on the shelf?
I think it can, but if we're looking to a world scale and what will Ontario do well on a world scale, that kind of leads back to specialization. And what I mean by that is what can an area do well, but also what is their unique selling point. So if you look at, like you mentioned earlier, you look to London for gin, or Japan, or even Scotland for Scotch, they have a history and a heritage that dates back to that. So they
don't have that here yet.
Not when it comes to gin. However, what we do have is rye. So when the States was going through Prohibition, that's how a lot of local distilleries here survived, is they would smuggle the rye into the States. And so we have this really cool history and heritage about that. But since these distilleries that I'm talking about have only emerged recently, I think the next few years we'll have a lot of rye emerging. And also a few years ago, Northern Harvest rye from Crown Royal was released as the world's best whiskey, and that drew a lot of attention towards Canadian whiskey.
Now, you don't just teach.
Nope.
You make.
I make.
You make something called Northern Landings Ginberry.
Yes.
It goes for, if I got this right, $44.95 at the LCBO.
Yeah.
All right, there it is. There's the picture of the bottle right there.
Fantastic.
Actually, for those who are listening on podcast and can't see the bottle, would you just describe that? What are we looking at?
So we are looking at a red bottle, and it's called Northern Landings because, as I mentioned earlier, I used to live in the UK. I met my husband over there. My grandfather is actually from Poland, and he immigrated towards Canada. And it's about coming home. It's about this idea of Canadianness, really. And we tried to create a gin that really expresses Canada. And while we were living in the UK, we saw all these different gins that were really incredible and unique. And we thought, why doesn't Canada have anything like that? So flavored gins were erupting massively at the time. And then we saw it slowly creeping into the US market. And I saw a few of the big brands who were saying, okay, there's something on this, let's introduce it to the LCBO. But what I also saw is they were introducing things like flavorings added, sugar added, artificial coloring added. And so we thought, why don't we create a product that is gin, it's a flavored gin, but actually uses natural product grown in Ontario.
Such as what?
Cranberries.
Aha, okay.
So what we do is we make a gin, and then afterwards we take these cranberries and we crush them down, and we macerate the gin itself on the cranberries. And that's what turns this beautiful bottle red. So there's no color. Everyone goes, oh, I don't like sweet and I don't like flavoring and I don't like any of these things.
And you got none of that.
I got none of it. So everybody always says, oh, what's inside? I go, turn it around. And the ingredients literally say gin, cranberries.
But you distill.
We do, yeah.
How do you actually distill? What does that process involve?
So the way that I compare it, distilling is a lot like when you're looking at cooking versus baking. When you're a winemaker, you're tasting throughout the product and you're trying to see whether or not like this is a good, it tastes good, what do you need to add to it. Versus when you're distilling, it's a lot like you got a kettle and you got a process and you're like, okay, let's see how this goes. And then you taste at the very end and either it tastes great or it doesn't.
But it's chemistry basically, isn't it?
It's so much science.
Did you take that in school?
So I actually did. I went to Niagara College. I did a winery and vit program. I also went to the University of Guelph, and I studied environmental sciences.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to ask you about the price, because that $44.95, how much of that do you actually see?
Oh, at the end of the day, it's a bit difficult because with the LCBO, they do take their share of it. And the reality is when it comes to the Ontario distilling industry, it's about the economy of scales, which is why you see so many of the bigger players out there. And that's the reason why it took so long for the smaller guys to erupt. So that's the reason why is that if you can get a full listing in the LCBO, your economies of scales really support and you can make a bit more money. But at the current point, it's more of a passion project. Me and my husband, this is our side hustle. And a lot of people, they contact us and they're saying, oh, we'd love to work for your company. It sounds amazing. And I'm like, there's 2 part-time employees, But we're really passionate about what we do, and we have people contacting us from all of Ontario who are interested, and we're just trying to get our product out there.
Do you make it in the basement, or how do you do it?
No, so we actually work through contract distillers.
Okay.
So we've made friends in the industry, and they have all the equipment for us, so we work through them.
Gotcha.
And they're really supportive, and we're quite happy with what we've made.
I should ask you about the distribution system, because of course all spirits, I guess, go through the LCBO.
Yes.
And they have a monopoly on sale in the province of Ontario.
Yes.
Is that good for you? Is it bad for you? Help us understand that.
It's one of those things that we've had for so long, and the local consumer is used to it. As a local producer, what I will say is that we have access to one of the largest alcohol purchasers in the world at our doorstep.
Maybe the largest.
Yeah, exactly. So it is a huge asset, because if we were to start this business over in the UK, if you were to approach any of those big names, they'll ask for a £20,000 listing fee right off the bat. With the LCBO, they have an interest in supporting local distillers. So it's just a matter of navigating through this complex system. And part of it is that they do want to make sure that the brands that they take up, they believe in it and they think that it will do well in there. So part of it is understanding what do Ontarians like. Part of it is they like sweet. An example of this is a few distillers have applied to be listed in the LCBO with very floral gins. But
what's a floral gin?
A floral gin. So they use a lot of florals like chamomile or lavender, all these different things. Okay. But it works in other markets because when you think about the UK or even Europe, they grow up having elderflower spritzers and all these different flavors in their food or their drink. They're associated with these florals. But Ontarians, we don't really do florals in our food, do we, right? So they're thinking, okay, this is not something that the average consumer is used to, and maybe it won't sell. And they're actually protecting the distilleries themselves, because if they start distributing this and somebody returns it, it's at the cost of the distillers.
All right, let me ask you another business angle question. Because a little while back, I wrote about this on our website, so I guess I can fess up to this here. A little while back, when President Trump put tariffs on Canada and called us a national security threat, I got irritated about that. And Jack Daniels is my drink, and I just thought, I'm not going to send my money to the United States and buy Jack Daniels if he treats us like a national security threat. So I think I put something out on Twitter saying, I'm looking for an alternative to Jack Daniels that's Canadian. And somebody said, oh, you should get 40 Creek out of Stony Creek. And I thought, that's great, because Stony Creek's part of Hamilton, that's my hometown, so great. Then I discovered 40 Creek's not owned by Canadians, it's Italian-owned.
Yeah.
So this is all very confusing. And mind you, it's great, it's a good product, I still drink it. But if I want to buy a truly local spirit, you'd think Canadian Club would be the obvious thing to get. Is it? Is it Canadian anymore?
That's a very good question. And unfortunately, you don't, even if a brand has the word Canada on it, that doesn't mean necessarily that it is from Canada. So a lot of these things started off as Canadian brands, but came, like you said, came around and somebody realized there was a great business opportunity with it. So it is up to the consumer, like yourself, who looked up and said, is this really a Canadian product? It's up to the consumer to do that research and see whether it is or not. So if you want to produce local, so one of the things I'm hoping to see from the LCBO in the future is that, when you go to the LCBO, they have a distinct area that's allocated to local wines.
Sure.
There's a VQA, local wines, buy it here. I'm hoping in the future in the LCBO, there's an actual local spirit section, because why not? A lot of people do want to support local, and that kind of takes the research off the consumer, and then it allows them to buy that with confidence and know that they support somebody local.
Okay, we're going to finish up on this. I'm going to put you in the room with Doug Ford. There you are. You've got a one-on-one with Premier Ford, and you're going to say to him, Premier, here's the one thing you could do to encourage and inspire innovation in the Ontario distilling industry. It requires this policy change. What are you telling him?
I think a lot of it is part of it just making the consumer aware. There are restrictions with the LCBO, and we just kind of have to accept that. Would it be good to have like a few extra, grants or kickbacks or whatever it is for the distiller? For sure. But I think really at the end of the day, it's more about showcasing what we have, what we do well, and giving some opportunities, like having that stack when you walk in saying, this is Ontario producers, or even just like on their website, showcasing more of what Ontario producers are doing. They're now starting to say, okay, here are women in distilling in Ontario. So really taking that to the next level. And I think that's the most feasible way of doing it.
Can I make a suggestion, Andrea?
Yes.
If you go in and if you have this meeting, use the word subsidy. Don't use the word kickback.
Okay.
Politicians don't like the word kickback.
Sorry about that.
Not at all. That's Andrea Fujarczuk, and she is the professor of distilling at Niagara College. Which campus?
The Niagara on the Lake campus.
Niagara on the Lake. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful town, beautiful college. Thanks so much for coming into TVO tonight.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. CPA Ontario is a regulator, an educator, a thought leader, and an advocate. We protect the public. We advance our profession. We guide our CPAs. We are CPA Ontario. And by viewers like you. Thank you.